Welcome back to Bleav in Softball. I'm your host, Jenna, and however you got here today, whether you downloaded the audio version on Apple, Spotify, etc., or you're watching video on YouTube, thank you. Welcome back. Subscribe and rate the show wherever you get your pods if you haven't. Follow us on Instagram and X at Bleav in Softball. That's BLEAV. And don't forget there is merch. So click on the link in our bio on either page or go to shop.bleav.com to purchase 3 different shirts. You tell me which one your favorite is. All right, let's go through today's batting order. First, we'll be covering our bases. I'm going to share some callouts. Then we'll head into the interview with Michaela Edenfield, All-American catcher from Florida State, who we have seen blossom over her career. Whether it's dropping bombs on the field or she's painting another masterpiece of game day makeup on her face. She is a gem. I'm excited for you to hear it. And then we'll bring it home and wrap up with some final thoughts. All right, let's go. Covering our bases. These recent weeks have been pretty insane in the best way possible for me. I actually called 9 games in 12 days. 5 of them were solo and 4 of them were actually in Berkeley over at Cal. So this past weekend, I got to call the series with Florida State visiting Cal and saw one of our favorite Bleavers, head coach Lonni Alameda, aka Coacha of Florida State, in person. And the Seminoles, honestly, they went off this past weekend. And it was some interesting context even just going into it. It was actually the first time in a decade that these two teams and programs had played each other. And obviously, Coacha is familiar with Cal from her days as an assistant and being on staff with Stanford in the early days of the program. There are actually several alums who went to enemy territory in Bear territory to support her and say hello. And the Seminoles got to go sightseeing in San Francisco, so they just really made the most out of their trip out west. And I did get a chance to speak with Lonni Alameda on the D1 Softball social media channel, so tune in there if you haven't seen it. It was very cool to witness milestones as well throughout this series. So game 1, Coach Alameda had her 800th win since being at the helm of Florida State. But then game 2, it was her 300th ACC win at Florida State. And then the team got their 40th win in the last game of the weekend on this season. And then for Cal, Acacia Anders actually had her 200th career hit. So lots of cool just goals to reach. And they have plenty more to come. Both teams do. But it was nice to witness that and get to tell that story. Also, one of the last home games at Levine Fricke Field before Cal softball field is renovated. They are actually breaking ground right after their last home series this season, and their new stadium will be renovated and ready to go for 2027. So lots of cool things that happened and lots of cool things to come too. And then for the Clemson at Stanford series the weekend before that, the reunion was everything we thought it'd be and more. There were Stanford alums from all different class years coming together on Saturday. The tailgate was fun with everybody. Ramona Shelburne threw out the first pitch. She even threw out a little trick pitch that she practiced with us near the press box beforehand. And everybody went down on the field to say hello to both Coach Allister and Coach Rittman afterward. So just some good, nice bonding between alums, but also some good close softball throughout the weekend. And I actually got to talk with both Ramona and Coach Rittman on the D1 Softball social channels too. So also check that out. The other thing you want to check out is the D1 Softball podcast. A new episode with my co-host Amanda Lorenz is out this week. We interviewed UCLA duo Megan Grant and Jordan Woolery. They are the self-proclaimed, but I also think accurately proclaimed, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson of UCLA softball. So Warriors fans in the NBA, Bay Area folks, if you know, you know. We also interviewed Arizona's Sydney Stewart the episode before that, in case you missed it, and all 3 of them are just big-time hitters with big personalities that I think you'll enjoy. And both of those teams are actually jockeying for position in their respective conferences this weekend, too. UCLA going to Oregon. They're right at the top of the Big Ten right now. And then Arizona, of course, playing Texas Tech, a couple of the big dogs in the Big 12. So check it out. Find it on the D1 Softball YouTube or download it, whatever audio platform you get your pods. It's going to be time well spent. And then coming up, I am thrilled to be on the call this weekend for the big swing. So Stanford is hosting Cal for the rivalry series. They're both in a brand new conference, of course, but this rivalry is very familiar and embedded into their history. So Saturday, actually trying to break the NCAA softball regular season attendance record that was recently just broken by OU and Oklahoma State with 9,259 attendees at Bedlam. Stanford has now sold 10,000 tickets and counting at the time that we're chatting about this right now. And of course, it's going to be in the football stadium. So this is where the big game, as it's called, between Stanford and Cal football has gone down so many times. And it's just very cool because when does a team have an opportunity like this in their home stadium? You know, OU, Oklahoma State, they did it at Devon Park where we see the World Series every year. But this is their home stadium this year for Stanford. Very cool to see. And then, of course, layers to this. You know, head coach Jessica Allister and head coach Chelsea Spencer of Stanford and Cal, respectively. They lead their alma maters, and they actually played against each other when they were student athletes. Allister was Stanford 04, and Spencer was Cal 03. So both teams now, too, they can swing it, and they both need wins right now to propel them in the ACC. So with all of these things, it doesn't get much better than this. And as usual, plenty going on around the country to keep our eye on, too. And then one person who actually always has her eye makeup on, for game day at least, is today's guest. So let's head into the interview. She's the Florida State catcher, All-American, 3-time All-ACC honoree and counting, and 2022 Golden Knoll Rookie of the Year, Michaela Edenfield. Michaela, I'm so excited to have you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I mentioned to you before we hopped on, but I have to say it now that we've started, that I love the sweatshirt now that you're out on the West Coast. Yeah, while we're having this convo.
Yeah, it's crazy. I purposely didn't wear a sweatshirt. It was supposed to be a little windy. We were going like on a little boat cruise around Alcatraz and the Golden Gate Bridge. It was beautiful. I was like, I purposely will not wear one, so I'll buy one and I'll wear it. So perfect.
Very smart. And we always joke here in the Bay Area, too, that especially in San Francisco, you always need a light jacket. That's just the weather that it is in the area. So
It's
I
lovely.
love
I
that.
love it. I love this weather so much. Like it gets warm, it gets hot, it gets hot. But at the same time, you can always like count. It's like a desert-esque vibe. So it's the moment the sun goes down, it gets nice and chilly. That's peak comfort level for me.
I love that. I'm so glad that you're getting to experience that then for this trip. And you said you went to Alcatraz, you got to do some exploring. And just being out in the West Coast, it's a new part of the ACC, obviously, this year. And you're a senior, so you got a ton of great experience under your belt, but still some new stuff towards the
Oh,
end of
for
your career
sure.
you're experiencing.
Yeah, the realignment. I know Twitter likes to joke around, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. We like to joke around and say now it's like the All Coast Conference. It's not
Yeah.
the Atlantic Coast anymore, but it's really cool. I just tweeted out actually being like the fact that we're able to travel to play like for a yellow ball, but at the same time being
Yeah.
able to like cherish these like travel memories and being able to like go around and see a lot of things that you just wouldn't normally do or see or be around unless you specifically book the trip. It's just, I don't know. I'm so grateful for all the places softball has brought me and continuing to bring me. So it's awesome to see the difference. And I'm happy that we get to go to the West Coast to play some ACC ball now. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, why not? All Coast Conference is definitely a thing. I've heard one of my colleagues out here calls it the Bay CC for when people are out here in the Bay Area. That was a new one for me, so I have to give him credit. Troy
Base.
Clarity,
That's the first time I've ever heard that. That's great.
right? I know, same. So I had to give him a little shout out there. But
Mm.
we're so happy to have you. I'll actually be calling your games this weekend at Cal
Oh,
too, so I'm
nice.
excited to see you all play in person again. Um, but speaking of that, we're actually talking in between game days right now. You had a midweek game, you have the series this weekend. Can you
Mhm.
walk me through what is your routine usually on road trips and just for game days in general?
Yeah, road trips. This is definitely like a longer piece. We decided to have our last midweek game here, which is again like a really interesting part feeling of the season where it gets to be like your last midweek. You're starting to get into the longer part. I like to call this the dog days part of the season because it feels like this is usually the part that weighs on your heart and on your soul and mentally the most. Those days where you go over start to get a little mentally fatiguing, and that's when like there's a mentality shift within teams, and you'll see a bunch of really good teams become great in this point in time just through like good communication, good standards, everything being upheld, and you start to see a lot of people shift downward as well. So this is definitely the make or break part of season where you really determine just how gritty and like the true value of what your team is representing and showing day to day. So I definitely think like family is a big part of our culture, part of Florida State. It's the reason why I decided to go to Florida State. So I'm glad that the culture part is very much alive with us, and we talk about family. Like this is very much a sisterhood, and it's fun to be able to travel with these girls and create these memories. And just having our last midweek game here, we're just like all talking about it. Us seniors, we're feeling really old. Some of us are fifth years, some of us are 4 years, some of us have transferred in and out of a couple schools. So it's so intriguing to me just getting to know like each other during the highs and lows of the year. But specifically this trip, traveling for a midweek, we came in Tuesday, got in, we're able to walk around for a little bit, stretch our legs. Definitely, that was like a 5-hour flight from Atlanta to here in the West Coast. So glad that we were straight from Atlanta to here because I hate connecting in Dallas for some reason. I don't know what it is. I have my favorite airports by now. This is my 5th year of doing this. So
Yeah,
it's
makes
definitely, you
sense.
become a seasoned traveler when you're done. When it's all said and done, you become very seasoned in traveling. But coming in Wednesday, playing a game against St. Mary, like they're a very tough, gritty team, and they definitely displayed that. We did come through with a win. So from there on out, it's the next game after that. And we talk about being one pitch mentality and what it's like to truly live that. It's very difficult. And you add on to the travel, you add on to the time difference. And so this is like a really, I'm glad we're doing this trip towards like this part of the season because yes, like I say, it's the dog days, but it's also like a really good piece to connect onto everything we're talking about because when the going gets tough, either you get tougher or you cowered away. So I think this is definitely a piece that will make us tougher as we then go into our final home game series senior weekend the following week. So that's going to be a little emotional for me. Pray for me, if you will. But definitely today was like fun being able to be a tourist for a little bit, but also coming in, we have practice here in a couple hours. So definitely getting our mind right for the weekend, and we're going to be playing against Decord Cal team. I used to grow up watching Cal being like, oh, I'll never go over there, or I'll never be able to play them, or they're not in the ACC, I'll never be, I guess one of those things. But now like that the realignment, adding a couple teams, like I said, I'm grateful we get to go to the West Coast. We get to see things that me as a Floridian like never get to see. So
It's true. It's true. Who would have thought, right? But I feel like every year there's new stuff for us, and it's how we handle it in different ways. And I feel like Florida State, your culture, like you said, is so great at handling different types of things. And I think dog days is such an appropriate way to describe this point in the season. Honestly, as a player can relate, like from back in the day, but even now from the media side, it's that stretch in the season where you're like, oh, all right.
Like the first month of softball is like, oh wow, softball's back. I love it. And then you go through like halfway point of the second month, like into March, and you're like, oh wow, like, and then all of a sudden like conference play is like, typically that first to second week of March, and we're like, yes, conference play. And then April hits and you're like, oh, so this is what a season is like again.
Yes.
And so it hits you like all of a sudden. We talk about the travel, like it's the time difference, the 5-hour flight, just getting to know your bodies. And like we talk about, again, family. I'm going back to that. Coach Vic, our strength coach, does an amazing job of just having an individualized plan for everyone. And that's a lot. We have 22 girls. Now, some rosters are bigger, some rosters are smaller. We have 22, and I can tell you for a fact, no one is getting overlooked on this roster. I mean, everyone has a specific individualized plan, from pitcher to middle infield to catchers to redshirt catcher to like, super senior, like whatever it needs. And I think, again, just knowing our bodies and trusting and relying that our family, our people will be there for whatever we need to do, or can we kind of be a little proactive, again, because it's a long season and we're trying to stretch into 50 some odd games, hopefully. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if everybody realizes it's 4 months. Like if you're going to the World Series and doing the whole thing from beginning of February to beginning of June, it's a long
It's a
season,
lot
even
of
compared to
games.
other
I
sports.
feel like
Yeah.
I literally had this conversation the other day, talking about basketball. I love watching basketball. Now, I used to foul
Yeah.
out in middle school, but I love to watch it now. And it's super interesting just to hear perspective from other student athletes as well, and just hearing them talking about, their dog days of the season. And it's like, yeah, when we get into game 18, it's like when it just feels like, I'm like, game 18. Game 18 was like 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, it's like crazy to me. I'm just like, the difference. I truly don't think people understand the amount of minutes we spend like on the ball field during the season. Like, a game could take an hour and a half, or it could take, 3.5, 4 hours. Like, sometimes you just
Yep.
really don't know.
Yeah. And it's being able to have that focus for that entire time, like sustained focus like that,
Hmm.
day in, day out for all of these different games. Just on the mental side, obviously, there's a physical element to it too, especially in someone like you as a catcher, right? But
Yeah.
the mental side is huge.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. We talk about for like one pitch mentality, like that's like one of our big common language we like to share and spread on the field. And I think roughly, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I think in action in most games, it like winds up to be like 15 to 16 minutes of like actual action on the ball field. And you got to think that's like 15, 16 minutes of what could be, 2.5 hours is typically, I would say, 2 to 2.5. Like that's a long span of time to find those 15 minutes and to
Yeah.
be a part of every single bit. And you don't know what part of that 3 hours, 2.5 hours is going to be a part of the 15 minute. And so I think the big thing here is like there's going to be hits, there's going to be walks, there's going to be errors, and the biggest thing is like if we can live in the present and not so much like reflect on those moments that happened to pitch before, like it's so what now? What can I do for this pitch? And trying to
Right.
shift that mentality, and that's again like the mentality we're trying to take into these dog days because again, like might have gone over the other day, but like that doesn't define me because at the end of the day, like I know my strengths, and as long as I focus in on being present and to the next pitch, then that's where I should be leaving it.
Yes. Gosh, so well said. You can tell that you're a senior,
Yeah.
just because the wisdom that's there, right? And it's so true. It's so true. Even well past softball,
Hmm.
just extending into life. And I was going to ask you what keeps you grounded, but I feel like you've touched on a few things already. Just that family atmosphere, being present.
Yeah.
What else do you feel like
I,
keeps
I
you?
definitely think just again the family piece. It's our first part of our core values. We call it FSAC, FS, F, FSACC. So it's like
Yep.
FSACC, which is family, smart, aggressive, competitive, and committed. And we're committed is last because we're committed to everything above. So,
Right.
family being like one of our biggest virtues is definitely just like a stronghold because yes, we're 22 girls, and yes, we have a bunch of amazing. I got Katie in the back.
I know.
We
I
have a
love
bunch of
it.
amazing staff members, but we are a team led by a strong woman,
Yeah.
and I think that it's the 22 is reflective onto what's going on with your head coach and your coaching staff in general. And I always like to joke around that coach is like our mama bear, and we've got the interesting aunt, we have the funny uncle, and then we have the calm, cool, collected uncle. Like that's how I usually try to tell people about our coaching staff, and
Yeah.
I think truly like one of my things is just being able to like have an open door policy. And as of right now, I mean, sure, I'm in a hotel and doors, exist, but like I could easily talk about anything in life to Coacha at any point in time. Like it's always open ears, and that to me has meant a lot to me. Um, I definitely feel like I've gone through a phase of my life where I'm getting a little bit older, and family isn't always what you think it is, and family doesn't necessarily have to be blood. And
Yeah.
so I've truly been able to accept like the FSU community and accept my coaching staff as like almost like my own family. Like that is my funny uncles and like my
Yeah.
interesting aunt and my like mama bear. Like that is a part of my family. And thinking about it now, this is my 5th year and I'll be done after this. Like I literally told Christina Hartley the other day, I was like, dude, I'm gonna text Coacha like I'm the most annoying ex-girlfriend that she's ever seen. So I'm gonna be like, oh, I miss you. Sending a pic, like, just like it's those things. And Coacha, like she does that not only for us but alumni as well. And we have alumni coming here that live here on the Bay Area, and it's just so interesting because again, it reflects the family, the culture, like it represents you. I it's just it's I don't know. It's to me, I get a little bit emotional about it because I also think about all the players I was so grateful to play with in years prior, and now that they're alumni, and that's going to be me in a few months. So
Yeah. Yeah. We had Alex Powers on the show recently, and she was talking about how anytime she's calling games in Tallahassee, she's staying with Coacha, right? Like
literally,
that
yeah.
is,
Coacha would
it's
I would be
lifelong.
gone. Like it would be the off season of softball. Like I'd be somewhere in the mid. I think I was in Korea, and she sent me a picture of a Starbucks cup. And mind you, I used to collect those big time. Like I
Yeah.
used to have an
Yeah.
obsession, and she would just be like, "Thought of you," like haha. Like she is just one of the most wholesome, amazing human beings, and I can't be grateful enough because it's people like her, it's people like Coach Rafter, T Will, and T Cam that keep me grounded because not necessarily like is it always going to be a teammate I rely on. Sometimes it is those adult figures, like parental figures, almost in a sense for me, um, that I'm just able to vent to and just like tell them what's really going through my mind. Because again, like reflecting on as you said, as a former college athlete yourself, like you understand and like I can only imagine the amount of wisdom you have now and how you maybe would have done things differently when you were younger. And so I definitely I've tried my best to be a lot more vulnerable with my experiences and what's going on in my personal life with my coaches. And they've been just extremely open arms with everything. And it really means a lot to me because you're not going to get the most out of an athlete if the person itself is not where it needs to be. So I definitely think like that being our first part of our values, like we live it and it definitely reflects on field.
It certainly does. Even as somebody from an outside perspective, Florida State has always struck me as a program that plays for something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way you all carry yourselves, the way you compete, all of those things, but even the way you interact off the field too. And you're talking about how that starts at the top with Coacha, of course. And then especially with the news recently that she announced with her diagnosis and how not only you all, but the ACC, all over the country, so many people have supported her and just been on her side. That speaks so highly to
Mm-hmm.
her character and exactly what you're talking about as somebody that spends day to day with her.
Yeah, I mean, she's just been very open. Like she's by far one of the strongest human beings. Like again, like I'm so grateful to be coached by her. So grateful I chose Florida State, and so grateful I get to have her like be a part of my life for hopefully as long as I know, But again, like for her to be vulnerable, like you are what you're around, and for me to be surrounded by such an amazing human being, she's taught me how strong vulnerability can be and
Mm.
how having a community and allowing that community to be a part of you truly and not just like face level surface, like actually get to know you is a big part. And again, like you said, like there's been so many programs wearing the little LA Lonni Alameda cancer ribbon
Yeah.
on their helmets. And even at our home field, like they surprised us. Someone printed out like 600 pink hearts and we're giving them to people to hold up in the beginning of our last home series. And it's amazing to see the community feel so much. And it's not just FSU community, it's softball community because coach has not only touched Florida State, she's touched so many people in this sport. And to see that speaks volumes. It speaks volumes for what she's done for us, what she's done for the sport of softball, and what she continues to show and prove, um, not only outside of softball community, but to the world. And so it's not necessarily the happiest news you could hear, but at the same time, you can see the strength in the core values that we truly represent here at Florida State, and she lives it, and it's just awesome to have someone like that.
I can give you some examples of just a couple examples of exactly what you're talking about. So some of the older alums from Stanford, she was their assistant coach when they played for a while, obviously before she made her way out to Tallahassee. They still love her, still keep in contact with her, speak so highly of her. I remember even at the 2023 World Series, it was the first time Stanford had been back in like 19 years. And so a lot of alums showed up because they were excited for the program itself. But people were also excited to see Coacha. And I think she even got tickets for a few of us of Stanford alums to your game at the time, Florida State. I forget who you guys were playing, but we watched, you guys and cheered you on.
Yeah. And
because
she never forgets people. Yeah. Like, no one is lost behind. Oh my gosh, if I had to go through Coach's phone, if I could do one thing, it would be to go through Coach's phone to, number one, see how many contacts that she has, how many missed text messages she has, that she does go back and eventually respond, mind you.
Yeah.
And then how many photos she has. Because I know Apple has a 1 terabyte phone. I recently just got it because I was like, I had the 128 and my phone was starting to turn off every single time I was trying to use it.
Been there.
But talking about someone that just cares so much about her people, and it's not just Florida State, it's the softball community. It's not even just to the U.S. It's Canada, it's Japan, it's overseas, Netherlands. I mean, she's done it all, and she's touched a lot of people in this community.
Truly. And I used to love seeing just the little things too, like you guys doing team coffee walks, before games or whatever it is, just to bring you all together. Those little things add up. Mm-hmm. They do. Yeah. Would you collect some of those Starbucks mugs while doing some of those team coffee walks, or how did that work?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd be like, a new one, the spring edition. I'll be like peeping like at a yellow one. I don't really collect them much anymore. I'm happy with the ones I have. I'm probably gonna gift some away. But I've gained a couple Stanleys as of late. I had a lovely little sponsorship with them, and I was like, hey, everyone loves a Stanley. It keeps it cold. Man. So I'm guilty.
It's so true. My goddaughter actually gave me a little Stanley keychain, so it's on my backpack now. Yeah,
that's adorable.
I was like, I don't even own a regular Stanley, but I have the keychain because she loves them. So
me too.
Had to do it, just had to. But that's the other part that I love about what you're all about, really, is so you've talked about sort of the family aspect. And you said you're a Floridian, right? You're out in the West Coast right now, but I love how much you rep for your hometown in Sneads, Florida, too. Why is that so important?
I'm going to let that one sink a little bit. Growing up in Sneads was very interesting. And I say that in a lot of different levels. For a while there, I was bullied. I wasn't really accepted. I didn't really have many friends. And I kind of turned towards sports as a release from everything. And luckily, I turned out to be pretty athletic. I played high school volleyball and softball. I did a little bit of weightlifting, but never actually competed with the team because that was during softball season. And I've ran quite a few stadium runs thanks to being a part of Sheila Roberts' volleyball team my first 2 years at Sneads. And I recently, for Players Weekend, honored my high school volleyball coach on the back of my uniform because, again, talking about a strong woman that she bred strong female athletes in the middle of BFE North Florida. I don't know. It's just, we take a look at the population at Sneads, and you take a look at some of the ball fields. You take a look at where everyone is from off of this team. And to me, it just shows so much of like how a yellow ball can bring people together from all over. And again, Sneads, like, I can never disown it. It's where I'm from. Uh, Even though it's a little shot away from Tally, not that far. I always like to say it's in the backyard of Tallahassee. Just cross over the bridge. Uh, I don't know. It means a lot.
Yeah.
For a while there, I was the most unconfident. Oh my gosh, unconfident little girl, and my high school volleyball coach taught me a lot about discipline and work ethic because I wasn't necessarily gifted at volleyball. I was tall, I could do some of the movements, but I didn't know technique. And that translated over for softball for me and body control and little things that I would have never thought of. And it really taught me that if you want to be good at something, like you've got to spend the extra tidbits of just technique, the how to, the want. And I'm forever grateful for her because I think some of those workouts are way harder than any of my collegiate workouts I've ever been. Like, mind you, we were flipping tractor tires, running up and down stadiums. We would do hang cleans on the sideline of the football field, then
Oof.
sprint across, sprint back, and do it again. Like I haven't done that in college.
Right.
But it's definitely something that got me mentally ready. And I don't know. I talk about like my high school story. It was a little bit of a Disney story. You know, I came from like the most bullied to winning homecoming queen my senior year. Like, it's one of those things I look back now and I'm like, wow, like if 14-year-old me would have known, like if I could have
Yeah.
just owned who I was and be proud of it just a little bit sooner. But that's a lesson that life gives you.
It definitely is. And
And
even
to
I know a
me,
lot of
like
people,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. And to me, like being from Sneads, and having my own personal story and having like all of that is one thing, but there's nothing quite impactful to me than like the little girls or the teams that live nearby Sneads and know where Sneads is, and they come to our ball games and they're like, they make me evidence of like, if you really want to, you can. And that's where it gets me a little bit emotional because again, like some of those girls, I never thought I would fit in. I never thought I was gonna be able to go to and play top level D1 softball. I never thought any of that was imaginable. So to be a little bit of a role model in a sense for those young girls, and it gets me every single time. I'm just truly grateful for all the opportunities and experiences the softball's given me.
well, and I know Sneads is the 850. I'm from the 805 in Southern California. So I feel
Hey,
like that kind of counts, right?
just a
Some coast to
little, just a little
coast.
switch around. That's good.
Yeah, close enough. Like I feel like, yeah, we're connected, right?
For sure.
But I think that's so cool. I mean, just how much it means to you. Like it's again way bigger than softball, way bigger than sport. And I know even people talk about your makeup all the time because first of all, so cool, right? How can you not talk about it? It's so cool to see what new designs you come up with, and I know you think of it as sort of your war paint, but you've also talked about how that was part of building that confidence
Mhm.
for you, and how even that has, a bigger representation than just putting on makeup for fun. There's more to it.
Absolutely. Like I try to make sure I really do state now, like the makeup is for fun. I do love like wearing makeup, but I
Of
also
course.
love going barefaced. Like I sometimes I can be like a little barefaced queen, like no problem. But I definitely think like again for a while there, like it was like I have to wear makeup because I want to be like feminine. I
Mm.
have to look a certain way, or I don't look good enough, or I'm not pretty enough. So like I have to put makeup on to make myself look pretty. And I think that's still very much the the story for most like teenage girls.
Yeah.
And like we're starting to see it now. I don't know about you, but personally, when I was 12, I was wearing plaid shirts and whatnot. We got 12-year-olds looking like they're 25, and I don't know how
Totally.
to feel about it.
Totally.
Personally, like, can we bring back the Skechers that light up? Can we
Yes.
can we bring back like what children are supposed to look like?
So
But
true.
it's like it's all about social media, and the
Yeah.
portray of like what you want to look like, and the beauty standards that get shoved down your throat at such a young age. And I think for a while there, yeah, I was not confident. I was bullied. I didn't feel pretty, and so a lot of it was searching, trying to feel like I belonged. And for a while there, makeup was a crutch. And during my younger days, I watched RuPaul's Drag Race, mind you, excellent. Like we're talking straight drama. Like, oh, I could get a kick out of RuPaul. Like it's great. Like
Peak
I
reality
absolutely
TV. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they love one another, they hate one another, they serve face, like it's all of the above. But also at the same time, there's an aura that they have, this swag, this confidence, and they put on the most, oh my gosh, exquisite makeup if we can. The most mind-boggling makeup sometimes. I'm like, I don't even know how they managed to do that on their face, you know, like 24/7. And I wanted that. Like, I wanted to feel confident like that. And for a while there, I was like, you know what? Like, I want to do cool makeup. And so it was like later into high school that, like, of course, the Anastasia dip brow era was like very big. And I had very big eyebrows that were probably a little boxy. And I will not look through those photos. But like, I look back and I can see like the evolution of when makeup was no longer a crutch and when makeup was fun. And then I decided to be confident. And the big thing is the decision, because it is a choice. It's a choice to be confident. It's a choice to be around the people you want to believe in what they say. And it's a choice to, you know, listen to the negative thoughts and the negative words that come out of your mouth. And I think for me personally now with the makeup, like it's just gotten to be so much fun, and I have a lot of fun. I'm a artistic person, and it's a fun way for me to have that type of connection with my fans. And you know, everyone wants, you know, give the people what they want, but to me, like it's the little girls that like wanted to be a Disney princess. I originally, my aunt, who's alumni, Florida State softball alum, she flat out told me that she didn't think I was going to be an athlete because when I was a little girl, it was all about dresses that could twirl and blinged, and I didn't want dirt in between my fingers. So there's like an interesting bridge of femininity and sport that like I feel like I've felt really comfortable with now. And I'm very much confident in myself and my body and how I look on the field, and it's fun to share that story and have that super feminine, like a lot of makeup, a lot of bling, a lot of sparkle, and just show little girls that you can do both. Like you don't have to portray yourself as like a mean mug and like boyish in any type of way to be a great athlete. And I also feel like that itself gets shoved down a lot of teenage girls. And now I feel like it's gotten a little bit more vulnerable with social media. Like we've definitely been a lot better as a society of like, you know, telling you, you know, if you want to do it your way. And that's the only way that matters, right? But at the same time, I know when I was younger, like it was more so like if you're doing too much, if you're too shiny, too sparkly, too this, then you're not serious. And that doesn't have to be the case. You know what? Like if I want sparkles and rhinestones and flowers and I don't know, if I want the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland on my face, then I'm going to put it on my face. And then guess what? I'm going to play. And because who's going to stop me? You know? So it's cool. And again, like it's top down. I get a lot of questions like, oh, how do your coaches allow that? My coaches love me. They know this is a part of me. They love me when I'm at my best. And that's me as a person. So how would they restrict something that makes me feel fulfilled as a person to, you know, be reflective on the field? And they see the connection and they see what this does for the little girls, and they've been super appreciative, and they've told me a lot of sad words to me, but very nice words on how I've been able to be a really good representative for the sport.
Reminds me of a conversation we had with Jenny Finch on this show when she was talking about how, you know, she came out with pink equipment back in the day and how that was kind of new at the time. And she even took a little ribbing for it, you know, but she was like, same concept as what you're saying right now. I want to be myself and you can do whatever you want. I can have a pink glove and I can still strike you out, right? Like that was her mindset. And so this to me shows how that has translated since her time playing to even now while you're playing and then beyond.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I get, and it's so interesting to me. Like now, like I get to hate. I get a lot of hate comments, but you're
Mm,
still viewing it. You're
right.
commenting on it. You're bringing more exposure to it. Thank you. Because
Yeah.
for one hate comment, I have five positive comments on someone saying, "I wish I could do this," or the like, "Oh, this is so cool! Like I love it!" Like and again, it's like what you feed yourself and what you choose to believe. And again, to all those naysayers and tweeter and deleters, like if you got enough time to twiddle your fingers on a screen to hit that post button for it to be something hateful, like I'm so grateful that you took the time out of your day to want to hate me. That just that makes me feel so good.
Honestly, it in some ways it's like, all right, you made it if you have
Yeah.
haters. And it also means you're doing something right because if you didn't have any haters, like what are you standing for? Probably
Hmm.
nothing, really, if nobody disagrees with you.
Right.
Um, yeah, I remember actually the first time I got some comments on X or Twitter, like you said, whatever we want to call it, about my commentating, like that were more negative. It hadn't happened before. And then in that moment, I texted my mentor, who actually she's a Cal alum, Kate Scott. She's now the
No, nice.
voice for the 76ers. So she's broken a lot of barriers actually for women in broadcasting. She's wonderful. But I was like, does this mean I've made it? Because I now have my first haters. And she was like, it definitely does. That's
Hey, they're
exactly
listening.
right.
They're actually listening to you. Step number
There you
one.
go.
I mean,
Right?
like that's a win. I think that's been like something again that needs to be talked about a lot more. I mean, social media is never going to go away, so it's how can
Right.
we like make the mental health piece healthy, and like how do you shift that like perspective of yeah, that's a hate comment, and then choosing to believe it, and then that
Right.
goes into the depression and XYZ. I like to stay away from that zone as much as I can. I mean, there's always
Totally.
some bad days and there's always going to be better days, but I definitely think again, like if I can really think and being like, someone took time out of their day to click their
Hmm.
fingers on the little screen or on their keyboard or whatever and hit post.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, impressive. Like,
Yeah. It's so
no.
true. Yeah. But I also wanted to ask you, we're talking about being comfortable in our bodies, right? And just who we are. You're a tall woman. You were
Mm,
talking about your height when it came to volleyball, but you're over 6 feet. And sometimes, especially athletes, some women tend to be a little bit taller if you play sports, right? But sometimes young girls who have height kind of shrink themselves a little bit, or they're just not as, they don't have as great a posture because they don't want to seem like they're trying to take up too much space. But I love your presence on the field because you take up space, right?
yeah.
And you show that you're confident in that. Like, I love when tall women wear heels. I'm like, that's
You
right.
go, girlfriend.
You
Yeah.
go. Yeah. I'm like, I love that for you.
It's
So
funny you
just
say
from that
that. So
perspective.
my current roommate in Tallahassee, I play travel volleyball with her, and she's about like an inch. She would be like, "No, I'm the same height as you." No, she's like an inch taller than me, and like that homegirl don't shy away from no heel, and neither do I.
Love it.
And I think that's something again, like what social media, like all the negative pieces that get thrown at you at such like a younger age. And again, like, oh, I have to be petite. Oh, this is in, this isn't. Oh, the thigh gap. I don't want that trend to ever come back because
Yeah.
I remember me as a 13-year-old looking and taking photos of like myself in jeans to be like, oh, it's not skinny enough. Like all of those things, like it's insane. And sometimes you have to live it to learn it.
Yeah.
And that's definitely like one of those things we're on a learning curve. We're all living for the first time, so we're all in this together. But I think that's where sport and the environment and community of sport is so amazing because we are in ways now, not always, more accepting into owning that piece. And I
Mm.
say some ways because there's also a bunch of negative piece of like, oh, you're not this build, oh, you're not that build in certain sports. That's a little different with volleyball, basketball to softball. I feel like softball has the most body types represented. I think that is you can fight me on
Totally.
it. I would take that and plan it on top of the world if I could. Like softball represents the most amount of body types. And I think something about it is just like super cool. Like within sports, it's like owning, like wanting to be strong and having that connectivity. Like with some of your teammates and understanding that, like, oh, I want to lift heavy, you want to lift heavy. Oh, we're going to lift heavy. And it becomes less of a me thing and it becomes more of a we thing. And when you have a group of people, connected on the same goal to do XYZ to compete at the highest level, lifting, working out, playing big, all of that is a part of it. And like, and one of my favorite things is like one of my best friends on the team, Christina, like she's probably one of the shortest people on the field, but like her nickname's Big Tina, and I think that's like something and that speaks a lot. And I think that's another thing is the confidence. It's how you, every moment, how you have your body language, how you act, how you react to things. And playing big has always been like a really big motto of mine. And I learned that from volleyball. Imagine that. My head coach, my old high school coach wanted me to wear my puff on top of my head to make me look 6'4". But again, like you can't shy away from the moments. When things do go bad, that's when playing big really becomes more of a mentality. You really have to turn it around because if you cower down and play small and you play nervous and passive, you'll never be able to, fill out your full potential. So I definitely think like playing big and being strong and wanting to, if you want to have big old muscles and flex on the football screen like I did, then like do that. But you can also be the girl that has like, Alice in Wonderland on her eyelids. Like you can be the girl that like is really bad at karaoke on the bus. Like you can do all of that and be all one person. And I just think that's like super cool. And I feel like that's something I really didn't feel like I quite understood as a young teenager. And again, it's always about like leaving it better than I found it. And I want to inspire like all of the young girls to own that piece a lot earlier on. So
I'm so glad you brought up flexing on the football cam because that was iconic.
That was oh my gosh, top 5 college moment for me. Mind you, we were on the field, we like we're showing off our rings and our trophy from being runner up and then ACC. Great, like oh fun, like everyone's on the field. I knew a couple of the camera people, like mind you, it's like year 4 of being at the university, and I'm like waving around, and all of a sudden I see that I'm on the big screen, and I don't know. It's not like I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like. It's not like I told anyone, oh, I'm gonna flex if the camera's on me or anything like that. It just boom, and I was just flexing, and then the next thing I hear is the whole stadium erupted. And I have never felt so seen in that moment. I thought like my teammates thought it was the coolest thing. I mean, we had a bunch of people reach out and text our coaches, like screenshot and pictures of like me on this, on the screen. And like Coacha had told me like privately, and she was like, that's really cool. Like that's really, really cool. And I was like, yeah, like it was awesome. Definitely a top 5 college moment for me.
Yeah, it did kind of go viral. I remember seeing it all over social media and it was awesome.
Oh
I think
yeah, people
everyone
ran
felt
with that
way.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. Loved it. And it reminds me too of, because, you like to drop some bombs here and there.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Area 51 is such a cool nickname. I'm a sucker for a cool nickname too. And obviously you wear the number 51, but then you hit bombs into who knows where, probably Area 51, right?
Yeah.
So that part's really cool too, just for you to lean into it, right? That confidence piece once again.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I mean, I chose to wear number 51 because it was my mom's like former number. I would have never thought I would have had Area 51 as a nickname. I think I've had every nickname under the book, truly. I guess Michaela is too many syllables to yell out on the
Too
volleyball court
complicated.
or something
Yeah.
like that. It was too complicated. So I ended up having the nickname of Amazon, which is weird to me. Amazon, Michaela, whatever. But people yelled that one anyways, because Wonder Woman was coming out. And again,
Yeah.
like I was owning, I was owning the Anastasia dip brow and the winged eyeliner that near touched my eyebrow tips at that point in time. And my Sheila Roberts, my old volleyball coach, she used to say that I was glamorous whenever I like wanted it, like when I was on the court, of course. And I had that nickname of Amazon all throughout the years of high school, to the point that when I won homecoming queen on the ballot card, they put Amazon, then in parentheses, Michaela Edenfield. There was
Oh my
freshmen
God.
that did not know my real name. Like,
That's
and
hilarious.
mind you, I live in a very small town. Very small. And how do freshmen not know my real name? I never quite understood that. And then to go into college and to be gifted like a really cool nickname again, like it's super cool because like my Sneads community, they'll be like, oh, from Amazon to Area 51, and like that's the really cool part and the memories I'll never forget. It's about the nicknames, it's about the funny stories, it's about the why, the who, what, when, where, why, and it's really cool to be able to have that moment and for my coach to randomly be like, "Oh, Area 51," and the next thing you know, like one of my first career home runs, and I get like that one went to Area 51, and then it's stuck ever since. So I am definitely blessed, but it's really cool. I think it's swaggy. I think it's got to be up there. I put my nickname probably like top 10 college women college nicknames. I might even put it at number 5, honestly.
No, it's pretty good. I
I
mean, you
might
think
not
like
be I may
Paige
not be Bayou
Buckets,
Barbie.
Area
That
51.
one's hard. That one's, yeah. Angel Reese is hard. I can't beat
Good
that. That's
point.
tough.
Good point. But that's okay. You can both coexist, right? We can have both.
Right? Right. I don't see why not.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. If you had to pick, if you could only hit for the rest of your life or only catch for the rest of your life, which one would you pick?
Catch.
That was a quick answer too. You didn't even have to think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, hitting's fun. Everyone digs the long ball. Um, Hitting is like individualized. And to me, I'm a big people person. I love to feel involved. I love to feel like I'm needed or like I'm being helpful. And so at the end of the day, that's what makes me happy. Individual success when it comes to hitting is like, it's fun. If it helps out a team win, that's great. But like nothing is quite more satisfying than being a part of someone's like journey and their success, and especially being a catcher. I have a lot of love for the defensive end of the game. Gosh, I love working with my pitchers. I love to know every little part of their journey, their process piece. What do they need to get, their final results of their pitch? And I mean, I would take the feeling of the circle kid, like, oh, like the we need to get this girl out type of circle kid, like strikeout, like there is just game winning strikeout, like feel like there's nothing that beats that feeling, or even just the success of my other teammates hitting, and I love it. I love being a part of it, so it's super cool.
There's nothing quite like hearing all of your fans say K time too.
Oh
And
God,
then
I get goosebumps. I'm like, and the thing is, it's like, it's not just one pitch. Like it's a sequence. Like we're trying to play a cat and mouse game. We're trying to understand, number one, that hitter's swing, what they're good at, what they're not good at, and then how we can play into the strengths of our pitching staff, pitching staff, and for me, like that's just like it's like a game of Tetris almost. You kind of like fit a piece here, remove a piece there, and then it all goes away, and then all works itself out. And I think that's to me like how a defense like runs. It's like a game of Tetris. We're just trying to like fit pieces here and there strategically, and those pitches have to be strategic to get in out. At the end of the day, we're trying to execute one pitch at a time, and to
yeah.
be a part of like strikeouts, especially like, oh, it's just nothing is better than when someone is about to swing and miss, and then just seeing it, and then catching it, and then the K time call, like every single little bit of it. I mean, probably a couple of my like top 10 softball memories have to do with me catching a strikeout or like doing something, being a part, or the end of the game hug with Kat. I mean, there's so many stories that really hit deep when it comes to me and my pitching staff and the pitchers I've been able to catch throughout the years.
Yeah. I saw it in Clearwater and heard it K time and I thought it was awesome. I need to go to Tallahassee to experience it.
Oh, it's
Home
amazing.
environment, all of that because it looks so cool.
Oh my gosh, they've been outstanding this year. They've really outdone themselves, that's for sure. It's cool to see the progress of not only our team getting recognition, but also at the same time to see our fans show up and with more numbers every single year. And I think that's just something not only in my time, I've seen it, I've been around it. Sneads, Florida is only like a little hop and a skip away from Tally. So I was able to watch like a couple games growing up when I could, and to see just the difference. And my aunt also being an alumni to tell me the stories of
Yeah.
the point in time when she was there. Like it's always about leaving it better than you found it, and it's about the growth of the sport and the awareness, right? And we talk about it, and OU softball just posted out like their best regular season show out. Like, if you
Yep.
build it, they will come. If you just give us a little bit of TV time, the ratings will come through.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really cool within the point in time that I've been in college, to see that shift and see it even go into the professional side now. So,
It's so true. Is that something that you would like to pursue after
yeah.
college,
Yeah,
professional?
I definitely I wouldn't be against it. I don't want to. I'd like to prolong hanging out my cleats for good for a little bit at least. And again, about growing the sport and awareness, I think there's been a good amount of following from the most recent senior class going and playing professional, and I would love to be a part of the next wave as AU goes through this next part of again growing the sport, growing the professional leagues, but. It doesn't have to be AU. It doesn't have to be domestic. It can be international. I just think playing softball and being around people and understanding that, like, wow, like I get to meet people from all over the world because of a yellow ball. And I just think
Yep.
that's really cool to have friends that do that, to have Kat Sandercock that's over in Japan right now. And she was in Australia playing softball, and to know people that were playing in the UK. I just think the sport's super cool, and it's amazing the places we get to go because of it.
I see what you did there. Prolong hanging up your cleats, playing pro ball. Got it. I see what you
Mm-hmm.
did there. I like
Mm-hmm.
it. Well, I hope we get to watch you play for a long, long time. But I know you got business to take care of still this season in the
Mm-hmm.
college softball ranks, and can't wait to see the rest of that too in your senior season. I don't really want to wrap up. You're so easy to talk to, and I enjoy it.
I've really
But
enjoyed this.
good, good. That's what it's meant to be. It's supposed to be fun. But I do play a game with everybody that I
Okay.
have come on to wrap up. It's called Safer Out.
Okay.
So you'll appreciate this as a catcher too. You get to be the umpire
Oh,
for once, right?
okay.
So basically, I'll bring up a topic. If you like it or you agree with it, you call it safe. If you don't like it or you don't agree with it, you call it out.
Okay.
Makes sense? Okay. The first one is catchers calling their own game. Pitches for pitchers. Safe or out?
Mm, safe. Safe, but it needs, you got to know the stuff. You got to know your pitchers, and you got to be able to read batters and their swing. So I think it's just depending on the catcher, depending on the program,
Totally.
depending on the catcher.
Totally. It's definitely it's a skill to be
Hmm.
able to do that. Yeah. Have you done that throughout your career?
I've definitely we typically go off of what Coacha gives us, but I've
Well, she's a
definitely had
great
like
mind.
plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely had plenty of cases that I've called. Like Coacha says, like she's just putting down a menu. If the pitcher's not confident in the pitch that she sees that's being called, she can change her mind, and then it's up to me to lay down that next. What do
Option.
you want? Which appetizer you want? Which main course? Like, what do we want to get to here? So. It's about
Yeah.
knowing that piece. So I love it.
Yeah. Collective effort, right? All the time. I love that. That makes sense. Awesome. Second one is transfer portal. Safe or out?
Mm. For me,
Yeah, for you. Doesn't mean you're like making the law for everybody?
oh, okay. I got pretty lucky my first time around and my only time around. So see, this is a trouble spot because if I
It's
say
a hard one.
out, then it sounds like I'm discriminating people that transfer.
Well, what I'm gathering is it's more like for you it was out because you were fortunate at
Yeah.
Florida State, but you're not judging other people who make
Oh,
changes.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
I do love being around our transfers just because again it's eye-opening because I've been so blessed with my experience. First choice coming in at freshman. I've spent all 5 years here. I am very, very blessed because it's not like this everywhere. Like,
yeah.
you don't have a mom and two funny uncles and an interesting aunt everywhere you go. So
True, true. Yeah, great point. Great point. Last one is bat flips.
out.
Safer out. That was a quick one too. But you said it. You have so much respect for the defensive side. And if you're a catcher, you're protective of your pitchers, I would think.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that, but to me, there's a so when people are like, oh, bat flip, like it's got to be this like, oh, like tempo, like people like holding their bats down. I don't know. There's just like there's a feel for it.
Yeah.
And I feel like bat flipping has gone to the days where it's like there's that one person off of every team that will absolutely bat flip, and it's just super annoying. You know,
Mm,
it's about the how and the when. I think there's
yeah.
a win piece that's like, yeah, that's understandable. I would much rather see like a mic drop than
Yeah.
like a full on bat flip. Like I'm a mic drop person. Sometimes
Yes.
I swing and I let go of the bat. Like there is no bat flip. If it does a
Yeah.
flip, it was not intentional at all. Like,
Yeah.
but like I definitely, I don't know. The bat flip is just too like, I don't know. It's a little too much for me. I appreciate the mic drops, like the little, yeah, like
Yeah.
I just did that. Like, yeah, that's swag. That's aura. The bat flipping is like a
Yes.
little cringy.
I get it. I get what you mean. It's a different kind of flex. It's like a subtle
Hmm.
flex. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's definitely some ball players that I know that bat flip that I respect. I
Yeah.
respect. Like I respect Mackenzie Clark. I respect Sam Shaw. Like respect that. But I'd be looking at them bat flips. And I'd be like, I don't know if I could do that. Like the
Yeah.
bat would be out of my hand by the by the time I'd just be like, how they got so much awareness to be able to hold on to the bat to be able to
True.
do that. Like I get it off. It's done. It's out of my hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair. Very fair. I mean, I think I asked Victoria Hayward that question once when she came on the show, and she was like, I feel like I'd almost like want to bat. You can't do this, obviously, but she's like, I'd almost want to bat flip like a really great bunt more than a home run. This is her as the lefty, right? So she's like,
Yeah.
I think I love when I do that. And I'm like, hey, I get it.
Yeah,
Everyone
she's
has their
awesome
thing.
too. Yeah.
Well, you're awesome. And I so appreciate you doing this. It's been so nice to get to know you as a person, too, a little bit beyond just being the player. And
Yeah.
who knows, since I am on the call this weekend, maybe we'll hear some Area 51 clips. We'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
Let's see if Area 51 hits the West Coast.
Exactly. Exactly. I did, in fact, get to say hi to Michaela in person while calling her games in Berkeley this past weekend. And, she said to me afterwards, she was like, I love the West Coast. I'm like, well, who wouldn't after what they did on their trip? So I'm just excited to see her in person again at the ACC tournament and possibly, hopefully, in the postseason and at the Women's College World Series. So with that, let's bring it home. You've been listening to Bleav in Softball, part of Bleav Network. The show is available anywhere you get your podcasts, wherever you listen, including Bleav.com and YouTube, too. Subscribe to the show, rate the show, and if you liked it, write a review. Follow us on X and Instagram at Bleav in Softball. Again, that's BLEAV. You can reach out to me personally on X at Jenna Becerra01 and Instagram at Jenna Becerra as well. As always, thank you for tuning in and catch you soon.